There you go. We should be recording. So, how's it going, man? So I take it you are carnist, right? How come you're not vegan?
Um, I just don't view animals on the same level as humans.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I wouldn't say I view them at the same level. But what makes you think they're so inferior to us that it's fine to just stab them to death and turn them into sandwiches? Like, what is it that makes them sufficiently invaluable in your view that it's okay to like just holocaust them?
I've got a few reasons. I typed them up. I can send it in general if you want.
Sure. Just send them in my inbox so I don't it doesn't get lost in the conversation in text. Send it in my inbox.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're like answering like the name the trait question. Those are like some look like traits.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so just to see we have common ground even in human rights. Like you would say it is like wrong to holocaust humans for sandwiches. You would say that's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but you don't think it's wrong to holocaust animals for sandwiches. So, the question would be like, what's true of animals that if it was true of humans would justify the same kind of treatment to humans? And you provided here a list of traits. Let me read them out. So, human. Okay, so the first trait is just belonging to the genus Homo. Looks eerily similar to humans, such as apes. Self-awareness. Previously human. Okay. I don't understand what you mean by previously human. You mean like if there
Um,
were if somebody turned your mom into a cow, it would be wrong to stab that cow. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, pretty much. Someone
I
said that to me, so I changed it.
I see. So you said intelligence, I guess. You guess. What do you mean by you guess? Is it important in your value system or is it not?
Well, I just put that because it's kind of a vague word.
Okay. Previously, a person who looked eerily similar to a human, not bred into existence for the purpose of consuming them for food. Uh, Wait, what?
Um,
What do you mean by that one? Can you clarify?
well, I think it's wrong to just uh shoot someone's animal, like just shoot a dog if it's someone's
Oh,
animal
I
they
see.
own. If they
So
like,
you're like
uh,
against? Are you against hunting?
yeah, I'd be against hunting.
Okay, so you're just in favor of it if that being is like purposely bred for that. Okay, and then you said belonging to a species which has the potential. Members can be born with self-awareness and general levels of intelligence comparable to humans. Oh, so that's like a species normality trait where, like, if you even belong to a species that even a single individual has this quality, is wrong. Okay, so
Uh, well,
what I would ask, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
it's slightly different. There could be
Okay.
no individuals that have that trait, but there could be the potential for an individual who is born to have that trait, and then I'd still think it's wrong to kill them all.
Well, that's gonna be a weird one right there because like I don't know what you mean by having the potential. Like I think every life form has the potential to like through like genetic manipulation or something like that acquire like human level self awareness. Would you disagree? Like you have you heard about uh species uplifting?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, uplifting is just like when you have like a non-sapient being, and through like genetic manipulation or other like technological means, you like raise the level of self-awareness or sapience of this being. It's theoretically possible to do that with anybody. So that's
Mm,
why I want clarity on what you mean by potential, because like if you just mean like possibility, like logical possibility, it is logically possible to do that to any species.
yeah, you're probably right. I'd probably have to adjust that. Let me think for a moment.
And the other thing that I would ask you is to
Yeah, I probably thought.
define. What did you say? Sorry.
I'd probably go with what you said, where one member of the species has it, and then the species has value.
Okay, so at least one member has already. Okay, but I just want you to define what you even mean by self awareness because I'm not convinced that animals are not self aware. What do you mean by self awareness?
Hmm. I probably have to look that up.
Because like presumably an animal is like aware of itself somehow, right? Like they experience harm, they experience suffering, stuff like that. They have to be like aware of themselves somehow to even like exist in social groups and to like maneuver in their environment and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't say, and even and some animals even pass the mirror test, which is like a classic experiment to see if animals are self-aware. Like sometimes they do experiments even with some insects that have passed the mirror test. Like they add like some sort of color to the animal, and then they recognize it in the mirror, and they try to like wipe it out. So like some sort of like red tint that they put in the animal. So are you aware that some animals pass the mirror test? So some animals like are proven to be self-aware.
Yeah, like dolphins and stuff. Um, yeah, I'd probably go with that criteria actually. Like, if you can pass a mirror test, then you're self-aware. And I
Okay.
think there's like different types of passing the mirror test. Like, I think pigs can pass a mirror test to find food, but they can't do it to like recognize themselves. So it would just you have to like recognize what is in the mirror is you.
I see. Uh, and are you also like willing to admit that some humans cannot pass the mirror test? Like there's like there exists some humans out there that like wouldn't be like self-aware to the same degree that like a cow would be self-aware, like mentally disabled people, like very small children. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Okay. Let me see what else that has the potential to morph into humans or something that looks eerily similar to humans. Then you're gonna come across the same problem here in this one because with technology, like we could potentially, it is certainly like logically possible to morph anything into something human-like, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I probably just
So
completely scrapped that trait.
yeah, I would scrap that one as well. Yeah. So okay, and then you're just being a speciesist here. You're just saying dog, cat, guinea pig looks like a dog, cat, or a guinea pig. Why specifically those animals?
Um, well, I just like them, one, and two. It causes a lot of outrage at particularly Asian countries that eat those animals. So it actually could probably benefit humans if we didn't farm them. Probably stop xenophobia a bit. It's like, oh, the Chinese eat dogs, you know.
Wait, so are you saying that these animals like don't have like intrinsic moral worth? It's just because if we farm them, it can cause some like social like disturbance or something like that. Like it's not that they have like direct moral value. It's that they have like indirect moral value, something like that. So what are you saying?
It's a conjunction of the two. Like, I think I just have a preference for dogs to not be farmed, as well as the other thing, which just like overdetermines it.
I see. So you just like you just have particulars about it. If it's a human, if it's a dog or a guinea pig or what else you said, a cat, then it's wrong to stab to death. Like
Yeah.
regardless if it was bred for that purpose. Okay, so I'm just gonna go down the list and like create like a hypothetical being uh, with these traits. Sorry, without these traits. So let's say like we found a group of beings that first of all were not human, like didn't share our DNA. We couldn't interbreed with them. They didn't look eerily similar to humans at all. Like so, like like the way they looked was sufficiently different from us that you wouldn't say they looked eerily human or human-like or humanoid. Let's say they were self-aware to the same degree that a mentally disabled person is self-aware, like mentally disabled people that exist right now that you already admitted there are some people out there that have like
Yeah.
self-awareness levels to the same degree of cows. Okay, so they have that same self-awareness identical to a mentally disabled person. They were never human at any point. Their intelligence level is the same as that of a mentally disabled person. What else? Previously, person who it wasn't previously a person that looked like a human. It wasn't okay. It was bred into existence for this purpose. So let's say we were just farming these beings into existence. They belong to a species with potential self. Okay, so
Oh, I
let's
scrapped
say
that one.
let's say the whole species has this same level of like the same level of sapiens as mentally disabled people that exist right now and we care about. So it's like the species normality trait that you named. It did. Okay, we scrapped the potential to morph to a human. Okay, and it wasn't a dog, it wasn't a cat, it wasn't a guinea pig. So it had like a mind identical to the mentally disabled people that we care about, but didn't look anything like us, wasn't human. Would you be in favor of like holocausting them for sandwiches?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same as how we farm animals. I mean, there's not
Okay, and
actually anything that
you don't care
different.
about you don't care about the fact that they would have minds identical to people right now that you care about and you just think they should have rights to life. You don't care about the fact
Uh,
that it literally has a
what
mind
you're
identical to
transport
like
you're transplanting their brains into the these beings, or they just have comparable self-awareness.
yeah, comparable or identical doesn't really matter. Like the biological machinery that they have like produces like a capacity for subjective experience identical to humans that already exist, that already have rights. It is already wrong to holocaust them in our society, but they are, without all the traits that you named. So they're not human at all. They don't look at all like us. They just have like identical subjective experiences. You would be fine, like personally, you would be against like stabbing the mentally disabled people, yeah, if they were human.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but if they happen to be in another body, then you're suddenly okay with it.
Well, if they happen to be in another body, what do you mean? They wouldn't be the same person.
Obviously, not the same person, but they would be they would be alike in how they experience the world. So they would have like identical minds, just like they wouldn't be identical in species, in body morphology, all that stuff. You would be like in favor of holocausting them.
Well, I wouldn't be in favor of it. I wouldn't mind it. And in particular, I think factory farming is wrong. I mean, I don't support it at all. I don't even like eat out at restaurants because I don't
Wait,
want
wait,
to.
wait, before
I
before we
make.
go there, I'm just confused. I want some clarity on what you mean by you wouldn't support it. By you wouldn't support it, you mean you wouldn't pay for it? Like you wouldn't buy a sandwich made out of these beings?
Oh no, I would be fine with financially supporting it. But did you say favor it?
Okay, I just don't understand what you mean by favor. By favor, I just mean like financially support. That's literally what I meant. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you meant like, oh, I'd rather this happen than it didn't happen. But like, that's not exactly. I don't think
Okay, I
that's.
see. So you would have that same attitude in the animal context. You would say that you would rather the world went vegan.
Um.
Because if not, like it sounds weird that you would have a different attitude because that being in question doesn't have any of the traits that you say you value. So are you saying that you would rather the world goes vegan, like you don't favor animal agriculture, but you're like fine supporting it with your money?
Well, I favor animal agriculture if it like gives me a burger, and I favor the like the being holocausted if it gives me a burger. But like
I see.
I like I thought uh,
Wait, what? You cut out a little bit. What do you say?
Yeah, I never mind. It was just kind of
Did you say
never
you
mind.
fuck with it? Is that what you said?
Sorry.
Did you say you fuck with it? I heard you say
Oh, no,
I
no,
fuck
no.
with it. Okay, so whatever. But okay, so yeah, it just seems to me that we then just have like fundamentally different values. Like, I mean, if you're like willing to like Holocaust beings that are like, mentally identical to to people people that we already care about, that just sounds
I
crazy to
mean,
me. I mean, you have a consistent position. You have no contradiction there. I just think that that's insane. And most people, I believe, most people upon hearing this conversation, especially people that like have experience with mentally disabled people, have mentally disabled family members, stuff like that, are gonna think you're insane. But it's a
well,
consistent position.
I'm not necessarily sure that's true because I mean, they cows pretty much have the same subjective experience as a being, right? But pretty much everyone's fine with cows.
Yeah, what I mean, it's an empirical question, obviously, but I would suppose that most people would be against farming beings that are mentally identical to humans that exist out there. Uh, and it just seems to me that I'm fundamentally against like the sort of way I'm fundamentally against the moral system that you have. Have you heard about like shell morality?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, like shell morality just means that you're valuing some external factors that are like extrinsic to the individual instead of like valuing the individual in itself. So, like for some reason, like because obviously, if these people have the same subjective experiences, like a mentally disabled person and the hypothetical being in question is called a schmooman, right? The schmooman in question that you find with Holocausting, they have identical minds, and like instead of valuing the mind and giving like intrinsic value to the being based on its aware of a subjective experience, you're like valuing some random ass like external facts about the being, like what body they're in, like what species they're in. I just find all that shit irrelevant. Like what I value is I value the being like intrinsically. I value the mind of the being, the soul of the being, if you want to put it that way. So I just find that morality like like uh super abhorrent. But you do have a consistent position. So just to clarify, you're like against factory farming, but you wouldn't be against like wait, first of all, you pay for factory farms?
No, I don't. Like, I don't even eat out of restaurants where they might have like factory farmed animals. Well, I don't eat
Okay, and you
out at restaurants anyway because it's too expensive. But
and you're against factory farms. Why?
I'm like against a prolonged uh, suffering experience for animals.
Okay, so you do give animals like some degree of like moral value, or you take into account their suffering and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like to the extent where it's wrong to torture them and not wrong to kill them for food.
Yeah, like so you would be against like against like torturing animals, stuff like that. Would you be against like bestiality, like if some people bred some animals into existence for the purpose of like just fucking them? Would you be against that?
Yeah, I'd be against that.
Okay, but for some reason you're not against like bringing them into existence to stab them. So that just you sound like weird, like right? Like I mean, why would you say stabbing somebody is less wrong than raping somebody?
Um, I don't really know. It's just my preference.
Okay, and
It's probably
and
because it's just been taboo for so long.
what's that?
It's probably just because it's been really taboo in general human society that I think that.
Okay, but presumably, if it like let's say hypothetically it wasn't taboo, like would you say a problem with it if it was like normalized and people just bred animals to use them as sexual objects? Would you think it's
Oh,
fine, or you would
oh,
still think
sorry.
it's wrong?
I should have clarified. That's not like the reason I think it's not okay. That's like probably the reason like why I think that.
And is there a reason why you think violating the right to life? Or, well, I guess you don't even believe in animals having a right to life, right?
No.
But they do have like a right to bodily autonomy, to not be raped. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I suppose bodily autonomy would include not being killed. So they have a right to bodily autonomy, except for they don't have a right not to be killed.
I see. And I guess you're like a welfarist, where you would like favor like a less violence or like less traumatic death to the being. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there like I just want to like understand why you have that like priority. Like why do you think it's somehow less bad to just kill somebody than rape somebody? Like like just put yourself in the position of the victim. Let's say you had to choose between two options. Experiencing some sexual exploitation once, as traumatic and horrible as that is, right? Uh, or just to get somebody like shoot you in the back of the head and never live again. Like, what would you choose about from those two options?
Um. Well, that's kind of why I put bread into existence there, because I'd rather be like bred into existence and live a good life, and then be killed with the 20 seconds of suffering than never have existed. And
Yeah, but let's say you were
but
bred into
that's just like
existence. Yeah, because I,
that's
I
like
told you
not the
to
case
put
with the
yourself in the
rape.
what's that?
It's just not the case with the rape.
I mean, in factory farms, that they are indeed raped, right? You know about artificial insemination, all that shit. I'm guessing you're against that.
Yeah, I'm against this.
Yeah, so it literally happens. So if you ever buy factory farm meat, you're paying for rape as well as murder. But like in the hypothetical that I am picturing here is that you are also bred for this purpose. So I'm just saying, put yourself in the position of the victim. Let's say there's two worlds: one in which you're bred into existence and used as a sexual object once, and then you can live the rest of your life. Free from exploitation, or they just murder you. Which one would you rather? Would you prefer? Let's say you were murdered at a young age, right? Which one would you rather actualize? Which of the two
I mean,
worlds?
I'd probably be rather be murdered. I mean, that's just over. I mean,
Okay, and then just you think like being robbed from all possible future experience and well-being is uh somehow better than having a possibility for future well-being. I don't see why you see it that way.
sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, because if you're murdered, you're gonna be robbed from any possibility for future well-being. Like I think murdering somebody is like the worst thing you could do to anybody. But for some reason, you're seeing it as like less bad than sexual exploitation, and obviously, I think both are horrible. Obviously, but I'm just saying murdering somebody is clearly worse because you're robbing them from their life. You wouldn't see it that way?
No, especially not with animals. It just feels way worse to rape them than
Okay, I
kill them.
guess I guess I guess we just have that like another like value difference there. I have a different weighing on those like rights. I think a right to life is probably the most important right anybody has, even more than like bodily autonomy. But yeah, I mean, you have a consistent position, and to be clear, you would be like in favor of like running small farms of beings like that we talked about, like schmoomans that look nothing like us. We're not from our species, but have minds identical to like mentally disabled people that you can find across the street. You
Yeah,
would
I
like
wouldn't be
morally
opposed to
approve.
that.
Okay, you have a consistent position. I just think it's horrific, man, and hilarious to be honest.
Well,
But
wait. Well, I think. Do you think like killing meat eaters in principle is okay?
we can have that separate debate if you want, but like
Wait,
we just
it'll only take like a minute.
Sure.
Because I think that position is just like
I'm
like
happy
you
to
said.
discuss like my view on killing predators, stuff like that. But I just wanted to point out that the vegan debate is concluded. Like we just reached the fundamental value difference. But yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions. What was the question again?
Don't you think? It kind of depends on what metric it's
Sorry, man, your audio
considered
is
by.
muffled. Your audio is
Yeah,
very muffled right now.
yeah, those cards past me. Don't you think it's a lot of absurd?
Holy shit, man, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't you think it's a lot more to suggest that killing 99% of the population in principle is okay? It's like killing.
Yeah, man, I don't know if you're like far away from the mic or something, but like your audio in the last few seconds has gone horribly wrong. Like I don't know if anybody else can hear you, but I can't.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Can you try
Like
again? Maybe closer to your mic or something.
yeah, like if the average person was to ask was we was asked the question, which is more absurd, um, thinking killing 99% of the human population in principle is okay, or thinking that like killing a being which is basically the equivalent of the cow is okay. I think the majority of them would pick the 99% of the human population in principle one.
Well, I don't know why you're like why you're using that dichotomy. Like I think most people. I mean, it's an empirical question. I have no clue what most people would think, but my intuition is that most people would be against doing both. They would think it's wrong to kill the 1% as well.
Well,
Are
yeah,
you
but
saying that what
presumably,
they would rather do? Like, are you saying like if they had like if there wasn't like in a trolley problem and they had to save one, would they save the average intelligence human or the mentally disabled human? Most people would save the average human. Is that what you're saying?
sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, like what you're saying is like if most people, because obviously it's an empirical question. I have no clue what most people's values are, but what you're saying is like if somebody if most people find themselves in a like a trolley problem situation, you know the trolley problem.
Oh yeah, I know. Sure.
Yeah, sure. So if what you're saying is that if most people found themselves in a trolley problem situation and they had to choose between killing average intelligence human or a mentally disabled human, most people would choose to kill the mentally disabled human. Is that what you're saying?
Uh, sorry. No,
You
what I'm
understand the
saying
question?
is, no, what I'm saying is, you have the position that 99% of the human population, like roughly the population of non-vegans, uh, it's moral to kill them in principle, correct?
Wait, that's not my position. Actually, I'm against killing humans for some like pragmatic reasons. Like in principle, like in a vacuum, like perhaps like to save animals, but I am against killing humans for various reasons. Like first of all, like we do need like carnists for civilization to go on. Like carnists are like instrumental for a vegan world to even flourish in the future. And there's also like the like legality issues, right? It's like we're gonna be labeled as terrorists if we can start doing that. We're gonna be jailed, and we're not gonna be able to do activism. So there's like a whole bunch of symmetry breakers between like killing wild animals and humans. I'm against killing humans.
Uh,
But in a vacuum, sure, like in a vacuum, if you're gonna say like, would it be justified without any consequence? Like there's no consequences at all. There's somebody that's gonna kill like thousands and thousands of animals across their lifetime, and I can like save animals by taking away their life. Sure. But in actuality, there's gonna be like a whole bunch of consequences that like prevent me from having the view that killing humans is okay. I don't think killing humans is okay.
yeah. Let's say that there's a button you can press, and the button will kill 1 million humans who have like little to no like pragmatic value to the world, and it won't be like many of the consequences you listed, or like none. And they're all non-vegans. You would have the position that it's good to press the button, right?
Not necessarily. I would think that like I favor taking like non-lethal, a non-lethal approach first, right? Like maybe try to debate these people, try to persuade them first. I would even like favor like forcing them to be vegan before killing them. But if you're saying that there's no other option, these people are never gonna go vegan. They're gonna be carnivores for life, and there's not gonna be consequences, and civilization is not gonna collapse or anything like and we can like have a vegan future. Is that what you're saying?
Um, yeah, sure. That's what I'm saying.
Then sure, like that's like a vacuum, right? That's like a counterfactual situation. Like that's not the world we live in. But sure, like if there was like a button that I could press and save thousands and thousands of animals from being stabbed to death, yeah, I mean I would do that. But in reality, like I think obviously that's not the case. Like I'm gonna be arrested if I kill 1,000 people, and like it's very probable that like civilization is gonna take a toll, right? If I kill 1,000 people, that it's gonna be like it's gonna be some consequences on how the world is run and whatever. But in that like counterfactual hypothetical where there's no consequences, then sure that it follows from my view.
Yeah. So I think that hypothetical just seems. I mean, that's just a horrible value to me. To just kill a bunch of innocent people.
I mean, they're not innocent, right? It is stipulated in the hypothetical that they are murderers.
Murders of animals. But yeah,
Sure,
like
which
people
I
can.
still see as murderers, and I don't know, man. Like it's an empirical question. It could be the case that most people, upon hearing that, would say, "Oh, that's like a reductio. That's like it's a horrible view." But I just think most people haven't even given thought to like vegan ethics. Like I think most people, upon reflecting on their values, they're gonna find out that they have vegan values as well. And I think most people would be in favor of killing 1,000 serial killers, right? Even you, like, would you be in favor of like pushing a red button and like wiping out of the face of the earth like 1,000 like school shooters?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just would like ask the people that have that position that what's so fucking different between like kids or humans and animals that justifies you stabbing animals and not humans. Like we already found out your position, but like I think most people uh like do indeed have vegan values, and that's my experience. Like my anecdotal experience on debating a bunch of people is that most people have vegan values. They just haven't like thought about it.
May be the case. I mean, we're kind of just speculating at this point.
Sure, I would agree with that, but it's just my intuition and based on like a bunch of anecdotes.
And by the way, I was also speculating back there. I don't want to be like, oh, this wasn't.
What's that?
I just wanted to clear up that I was also speculating. Like,
Oh shit, man, I can't hear you again. I heard that you were not speculating, and then you got out.
oh, no, I was speculating. I just wanted to be clear because I mentioned that this is just speculating when you made the empirical claims which we don't have evidence for. I just want to be clear that what I'm doing is also speculation, so it doesn't seem like a dick.
Yeah, sure. It is speculations. I also I'm just basing this on my intuition, but I do think like most people like are against animal cruelty and stuff like that. Like the people I normally come across, they're just non-vegan because they haven't thought about it. They just raised that way. You know, they put like fucking hamburgers in their mouth as babies and shit. They never question the morality of their food choices. So it's just they just haven't thought about it, but you seem to have to think about it, and yeah, you have a consistent position. I just hope you reflect on your position and how like absurd it really is, man. Like how you're like valuing external random shit, like the body one's mind is in, the species one's in, instead of like valuing the mind of the being itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the same to you. I mean, I think that your position on killing kindness in principle is also abhorrent.
No, I don't think there's anything abhorrent about saving innocent animals. I don't think humans have infinite value. I don't think like just because you are a human, you're like you can justify your own existence while like just oppressing a bunch of other beings. I just don't think humans have infinite value. I'm not like religious or any bullshit like that.
And no,
So
me
I
neither.
think yeah. So I'm just in favor of like preventing or minimizing rights violations, even if it's at the cost of using lethal force. I'm not like a pacifist, and you already established that you're not either. Like you're in favor of killing serial killers. I'm probably sure you're in favor of like committing just war and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Sure. So we do share like we have a lot of common ground. It's just that you're a speciesist and I'm not. But we do seem to have like a lot of common ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, man, I think that it really concludes the debate. I think you have a shell morality. I think you should like reflect on that and then just put yourself in the victim's position, man. Like obviously you wouldn't want like your life robbed from you and be robbed from any possibility of future well-being. I just hope you like reflect on it, maybe take like a heroic dose of like psilocybin mushrooms or something and put yourself in the victim's position and think about it, man. But
Well,
anyway, nice
well, just
chatting,
to
man.
be
Is there
clear,
anything else? And what was that? Yeah.
like as I said, I'd rather be bred into existence and live a decently good life than not come into existence at all. Like, would you agree with that?
Uh, so I mean,
I feel like
sure.
we
I
tried getting
mean,
it right.
so what you're saying is like if I had two options, like not existing at all, or like being bred into existence and having like a good quality of life and then murdered. If I had to choose one of the two options, yeah, I think I have that same view where I would like rather exist for a brief period of time, but obviously it's still wrong. Like I would rather like a third option where I get to exist and not murdered. And presumably
All right.
you would prefer that as well, like get to exist and not be murdered.
Yeah, I'd also have that preference, but presumably, if we just stop the animal agriculture, we're not going to be breeding cows and such into existence anymore.
Yeah, and then I don't necessarily see that as a problem, right? Because I think it's exploitative. It's bad what we're doing to animals. Like, but I am in favor of having some animals exist like in sanctuaries and stuff like that. We don't necessarily have to like make the species go extinct or anything like that. I'm in favor of keeping animals around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's it, man. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think I've dragged it on long enough. Thanks for the debate.
Thanks, bro, and reflect on things. Go vegan, man. Stop abusing animals. Have a good one, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, bye bye.